Hey class, my name is Emily Francis. I am Part A. We are going to discuss co-occurring. Also in my group, Part B is Ellie McDonald and Part C is Kenna Frazier. Our case study is about a girl named Vanessa. She is a 21-year-old female. When Vanessa was 10 years old, she was sexually assaulted by her uncle. She grew up in a household where her father drank heavily and abused her mom often. By age 14, Vanessa was drinking alcohol and smoking marijuana herself. By age 16, Vanessa was using drugs such as Percocet, Xanax, and other prescription drugs to make herself feel better. When she reached the age of 17 and she was in 11th grade, her drug of choice started to become heroin, mostly because of the crowd she was hanging out in and financial issues. Heroin was a lot easier and cheaper to get. She ended up dropping out of high school and moved in with her boyfriend James, who was also a heroin addict. Vanessa is on probation for trying to steal a car with her boyfriend. She is involved in the sexual assault survivors trauma group. She is in outpatient counseling as part of her probation. She needed to start seeing a therapist. He has diagnosed her with PTSD from the trauma that her uncle gave her, sexually assaulting her. She also was diagnosed with a substance abuse disorder general anxiety. She really wants to stay sober. She has the ambition to do so. She relapses every couple months, mostly because of her boyfriend James. But this is the longest period she has been where she is sober for 14 months now at this point. Some identifying information. Her name's Vanessa. She's 21, Caucasian, female, heterosexual, Catholic. She's in a relationship. She has no children. Her highest level of education is 11th grade. She is lower class, unemployed, and she is a Pittsburgh resident. So the medical concerns that we have for Vanessa are a history of sexual assault. She's got no suicidal ideations as of right now or has in the past. She has difficulty falling asleep. She has a lot of panic attacks. She's on edge, substance abuse, probation. Her family history, she is the oldest. She's got two younger brothers, 14 and 17. Her parents finally are divorced after the abuse that her mom received from her dad. She left and she did not come back and she did not take the children with her, which was very hard on Vanessa and her brothers. Vanessa has a best friend, Katie, who is clean and tries to support her substance abuse, but just doesn't understand what she's going through. A personal communication from Vanessa, she mentioned that I was assaulted by my uncle when I was 10. Nobody believed her, especially her father. It happened for 2 years until he was incarcerated. I resorted to drug use because it made me help the pain, it numbed the pain and the depression I was feeling. My boyfriend makes me feel good. He claims he knows what I'm going through. He said heroin would make my depression go away completely. He was right, and I'm addicted to opioids and have panic attacks daily. So the first diagnosis we gave Vanessa was the substance abuse, mild, because right now her only drug of choice is heroin. She has been on heroin for a couple years at this point. Even though she's sober now for 14 months, she was doing heroin for about 4 or 5 years. She was fulfilling to fill her obligations at work, school, and home. Hence why she's homeless, living with her boyfriend, and is unemployed. She puts herself in hazardous situations, such as stealing cars, which led her to probation. And she's been arrested for other disorderly conduct situations. The next diagnosis we give Vanessa is PTSD 309.81 F43.10. So she was exposed to sexual violence when she was younger, which was a traumatic event. She was in person. She did not witness this. She was the victim. She presents one or more of the following: recurrent distress memories of the traumatic event, reactions, flashbacks to the traumatic event. It was a lot, so outpatient therapy is seeming to help her with that, but she's still struggling. So, since we have a couple more diagnoses than just substance abuse or just PTSD, this is where co-occurring disorder comes in. That's when a co-occurring disorder is when you have one or more substance-related disorders, as well as one or more mental health disorders. So, one is not the result of the other. She was having general anxiety because of her uncle. She was having PTSD because of her uncle. And she just ended up in the wrong crowd and started doing drugs. Many mental health disorders arise from the same factors as addictive disorders, such as family history, brain chemistry, personal trauma. She definitely started doing drugs too, when her mom left. When it comes to recovery from co-occurring disorders, treatment must target both the mental health and the addictive disorder to produce lasting results, which is also known as a dual diagnosis. So she is working on getting sober, but also in outpatient therapy for her anxiety and PTSD. Now we're going to talk about the special population. Specific populations are homeless persons with co-occurring disorders, criminal justice populations, and women, which Vanessa has hit all three of these right on head. She is homeless right now. She is in the criminal justice system, and she is a female. So really what we could connect Vanessa to is the social learning theory. Vanessa was influenced by her boyfriend to try drugs, to help her forget her problems and her friend peer groups. Other people engaging in addictive behavior can lead to the development of addiction. Using the social learning theory, recovery is possible when learning new ways to cope with post-traumatic stress disorder. This might include developing friendships with people who do not use addictive substances. So she really needs to get rid of her boyfriend. She needs to go back home. She needs to be with her siblings and just be well taken care of. Maybe start a halfway house. By associating with people who enjoy life without alcohol or drugs, we observe and learn something new, according to the American Addiction Center in 2019. So, empirical-based practice, I picked two articles. The first was treatment of co-occurring post-traumatic stress disorder and substance use disorders. It really hit the nail on the head when it talked about the significant clinical need for better understanding of the treatment of co-occurring post-traumatic stress disorder, substance abuse disorder. Approximately half of individuals seeking treatment meet the criteria, treatment for SUD meet the criteria for PTSD. An estimated more than 5 times greater than the US lifetime prevalence rate. So I felt like that was a really big fact to share with you guys. My next article is Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder and Co-occurring Substance Use Disorders, Advances in Assessment and Treatments. The co-occurring disorder in women with PTSD, anxiety, and substance abuse disorders, like Vanessa has, include chronic physical health problems, poorer social functioning, higher rates of suicide, more legal problems, increased risk of violence, worse treatment adherence, and less improvement during treatment. So I really felt like that went with our co-occurring disorder towards Vanessa, and it really played a huge, like that whole paragraph right there just plays a huge role in what she's going through. She hasn't had suicidal ideations, but she's had legal problems. She's had increased risk of violence, worse treatment, less improvement during treatment, poor social functioning. So I really felt like that article, Imperial-Based Practice, really hit Vanessa on the head. So this is my reference page. And you can see that I've cited my references throughout. And yeah, next up we have intervention for the individual. Thank you.